Okay, all right. Had a solid practice this evening. You know, like every Wednesday, we'll focus on third downs, focus on red zone offense and defense. I thought our guys were locked in. I thought they were excited to practice, and they had very good intensity.
Any decision on Pat Miller?
He practiced, and we're still going day to day, but he's practiced each day this week.
If he comes back, Gus, does Danzy come out and Avery move back?
Well, we got the flexibility, and we felt good about last week, and we feel good about Pat if he's healthy. So that gives us, you know, much needed depth.
The last time you had played a running quarterback in Kansas State, Jaguars held him, he had negative yards that game. You think that's going to carry over when you play a guy like Dak Prescott for the defense?
Well, I mean, you hope so. I mean, they're a different team than Kansas State, and that was just that specific plan, you know, for that week that worked out. But he's an outstanding quarterback. He throws it extremely well, and he's like a running back when he runs it.
Gus, I know you like going with the hot hand, especially running the ball. You know, in camp, it's doing well. Or last year with Trey, but at some point, do you at all have the inclination to force it with like a guy like Corey that can stretch the field outside laterally and stuff like that?
You know, each game you have a different plan. You know, you try to see how they're playing you and what they're giving you, and you know the idea is that you have the ability to do all of it, but you know, each defense is going to have a different plan. It takes a while to kind of feel that thing out, but we feel good about Corey, and we feel good about Corey running inside too. And you know, I think that everybody's seen that we're very comfortable doing that.
Cameron Artis-Payne's right at the top of the league in rushing, and he's catching the ball well. Is he kind of a guy that's maybe not getting enough attention?
You know, he's that type of guy. He probably likes that. You know, he's not a big attention getter guy. He's just a go to work type guy, do his job. You know, he practices extremely hard. He's extremely hard on himself about the little things. He's always trying to get better, and he's a tough guy. And you know, he's got experience in our offense, not just this year, but last year. But this year's different. I mean, he's trying to establish himself as the guy right now, and he's doing a solid job.
Because he's a guy who's come out and admitted that he's motivated by what he sees reported out there from us and others. Other guys, whether it's true or not, don't necessarily acknowledge that. Do you see a motivation in him just that's a little bit different in mindset than how other guys approach it?
You know, I think since he's been here, you know, he's always, you know, just tried to get better at everything he does. I mean, he's real tough on himself. He wants to be perfect. He plays with an edge, and I'm sure that, you know, everything accounts to, you know, that edge that he plays with.
You talk a little bit about what has gone in with the receivers since that Kansas State game when you guys had the 3-4 drops or something, and how they've kind of responded since that, and the things you work on in practice to help.
Yeah, you know, anytime you have an area you feel like you need to get better in, that's what you focus on. And you know, it's been our focus, catching the football, looking the football in, you know, and everything that goes with it, and not just the receivers, but you know, from that night, I mean, we've improved in a lot of areas, and we needed to.
I know there's no way to compare game to game, but I think A&M dropped 11 passes against Mississippi State last week. I guess it kind of, what I'm trying to say is it shows you that if you catch a few, maybe it's a little bit of a different game. I mean, when you see little mistakes like that have popped up in the past.
Well, I mean, you know, you look on the film, I mean, there were some of those that were defended extremely well that caused drops. I mean, they weren't just all just wide open drops. I mean, their defense is good, and you know, they challenge you and they make you earn stuff, and so, you know, I think they're a very good defense.
Dylan Day was suspended last week for actions that happened in the LSU game. He had an incident with you guys, with Angelo Blackson, who played at the beginning of the fourth quarter of last year's game. Have either you or Ellis had to address Angelo or members of the defensive line regarding Dylan Day and how he played?
No, we're going to play football, and we're going to worry about ourselves.
Just a couple of weeks ago, you talked about punt return. The coverage team was not an area you felt very good about. And you've only faced one punt the last 2 weeks in that regard. Do you feel like it's too early to tell whether you've improved there, or do you feel better about that?
I think we've improved our punt coverage since the Kansas State game.
Yeah,
I mean, that was a game that they got a lot of yards on, and we didn't do a very good job kicking or covering. And so we really worked hard on that, and we got our work cut out with this group this week.
If the other team has a defensive guy who's like a McKinney, who's like a first-round NFL guy, can you game plan that, or do you try to kind of just focus on your team and.
Well, I mean, strategically, each week you try to game plan and do what you feel like gives your team the best chance of being successful. But, I mean, he's a very good player, and they got other really good players too. So, you just each week you just do the best you can as far as, scheming and trying to be effective.
Gus, we've heard a lot this week and really the last few weeks about Dak and, the Heisman hype even. There's a page in their notes that kind of compares Dak to several other Heisman players. So is there any thought on your end of maybe promoting Nick a little earlier this year than obviously last year?
I mean, we'll let everything play out. I mean, it's all far early for everything. And my experience is at the end of the year, the teams that are winning and their best players, they're usually in a mix. And I think everybody saw that last year with Trey. And, we feel like, Nick's one of the better quarterbacks in the country. And, he's been very consistent on finding ways to win. And, I'm sure there's very few guys that could, say the same.
Just how's the
You see these signs that the defense is excited about this challenge. This team's averaging 541 yards.
Yeah, it's a big challenge, there's no doubt, and our defense is definitely excited to go up against these guys and try to stop them. And, their offense, they feel the same way about their defense.
Guess I was going to ask, how is the transition for Cameron Toney coming along?
I think it's been okay.
Do you think he's anywhere close to maybe getting in a game?
I don't know. It's hard to answer that right now.
Gus, Mississippi State's weaknesses really are in their secondary. Give up, I think, over 300 some odd yards a game passing. Has that been a focus this week of trying to just stress that field?
Well, I think they're pretty good on the back end too. I mean, you have a plan, and we have a plan, and we'll go there and see what happens.
Could you tell us